How's everyone?
Very good.
Super. I'm thrilled to be here because I wasn't meant to be here. I'm only here because somebody else couldn't do it. And I was like, oh, I've had this idea for a new product for a while. And I wanted to share it with a room of people. And I thought, maybe this is the room. So I wanted to, I've got this idea. It's this new product. You can hold it in your hand or wear it in your pocket. And the impact it will have on you will be quite specific, but it could really help your focus, your productivity, your ability to concentrate and engage your brain. It could bring you closer to your colleagues and your clients. Your ability to collaborate and innovate will really, really go up. It'll also improve relationships at work with the people that you spend all your day with, but also with your loved ones. It's going to work-life balance, oh my God, it's going to do so much for your work-life balance. It's going to improve your well-being generally. And it's also, for a lot of us, it could help us to sleep better. If I was to bring this to market, would people buy one? Would you? Yeah. Right, so I might work on it. It's going to take a while. But say there was something out there that did the complete opposite. Would you avoid it like the plague? Yeah. Who's got their phone with them? Who's holding it in their hand? Mobile technology has revolutionized the world. And it's amazing. You know, the benefit that it's brought to our personal and our professional time is quite phenomenal. But a lot of people struggle with getting a sense of balance and control in their lives in relation to the role that their digital devices play. You know, we are closer to our colleagues and clients on the other side of the world, but maybe feeling disconnected from the people that are sitting in the meeting room with us. We do have all the answers at our fingertips because, you know, the information that we can now get through these devices is unbelievable. But our minds are so fractured and distracted that we find it hard to tap in to a place of focus and deep work. And yeah, we can be entertained. Like, you can carry it around with you. You can watch Netflix no matter where you are. But with that has come a lack of space, a lack of pause, a lack of downtime, and a lack of an ability to allow your mind to wander. The intention with this stuff was to help us. It was to bring us closer together. It was to help us to innovate. It was to make us more time efficient, etc. But I think for a lot of people these days, we just don't feel in control of our own attention. And the negative impacts are starting to outweigh the positive impacts. At Shine Offline, in the work that we've been doing over the past 4 years, we have been asking people, how strongly do you agree that your digital technology causes you stress and overwhelm? When we ask that question to people, 83% of people say, yeah, it does cause me stress and overwhelm. When we ask them, do you feel that your digital distractions impair your ability to do your best work? 92% of people say, yes, it does impair my ability to focus my mind, to innovate, etc. Who here today, when they're working at their desk, has their phone within reach? Hands, please. Thank God, you're normal. Research has found that there's a brain drain on your cognitive capacity. Your phone doesn't actually even have to be turned on. It just being within your sight line, it has a negative impact on your ability to use your brain. And who sits with their inbox open all day so that emails are coming in at their leisure, willy-nilly, and you have no control over the flow of them? Hands again, please. Again, these are normal. This has become a freaking nightmare. Who feels like a professional emailer? It should be a job title. Email was meant to replace the fax machine. It wasn't meant to replace conversation, which it's done. And it wasn't meant to replace a to-do list. Because a lot of us are allowing our inboxes to dictate how we spend our days. And I think if you think about it, it really isn't the most effective or efficient way to spend your time at work. As knowledge workers, we use our brains to do our jobs. And we need to be mindful of the impact that distraction can have on our ability to get into those really special parts of our minds and to do deep work and to be able to really focus and concentrate. We all flit all day now. And that's normal. That's the way it is. But it wasn't always like that. And I think a lot of us need to take a moment to pause and think, is that having a negative impact on my mind and my ability to use it? Meeting rooms. We all come into the meeting room with all our devices. And they're great. They can complement a meeting. She said something. I want to know a bit more about that. I'll look it up. Or I wanted to say something, but I've forgotten, so I'm going to. Meeting rooms have become hotbeds of frustration and suspicion. I spent half an hour preparing my 3 minutes. I think she's on Instagram. That man is looking at sport and he's on news. They're both in their inbox. Nobody's listening to me. I feel crap. We're not connecting as people. The morale of this team is being impacted as a result. And we came into this room to share solutions, get consensus, discuss. And a lot of us just feel really disengaged because this technology is pulling us away. Work-life balance. There's another word that begins with B. Work-life. Yeah, anybody know what I'm meaning? Yeah. Digital technology has been the greatest enabler of flexible working. We have a flexible approach to our working lives these days, thanks to the fact that we're not tethered to the desk anymore. We can work anywhere. It's amazing. But a lot of us are tethered to our technology, because gone are the days where you looked at the clock at 5:30 and said, oh, I'll sit on for 10 minutes and look really conscientious. And then I'll go home and I'll think about work because I had a really shitty day. But I won't be at work, and I'll go to the gym, and I'll go home, and I'll cook dinner, and I'll sit with my loved one and watch the telly, and I'll go to bed, and I'll still be thinking about work a bit because that thing happened, and it's bugging me, and I feel overwhelmed and stuff. There's too much happening or whatever. But I'm not physically connected to work. But now, if you want to be, you can be connected to work all of the time. Body is in Ibiza, head's back in the office. Oh, if I don't check my inbox every couple of days, there's going to be hundreds of them waiting for me when I get back. Or day 4, this book is rubbish. I hate the sand and my children are doing my head in. I'll just go in and see what's happening at work. We go on holiday for a reason, to rest. Because as human beings, we need a chance for a break. We need some oasis in our lives. The world is a very busy place and we need some tranquility. And yet, we're just not getting the same break that we used to. We're checking in on the commute on the way home. We're on in the evenings. This unspoken expectation, this macho culture. I've met people who, I'm going to type my email at 3 p.m, but I'm going to schedule it to go out at 3 a.m. to make it look like I'm working all night. I've met people who have done this. And it's rubbish. Excellence has become conflated with being constantly contactable. If you want to be excellent, you need to rest. You need some downtime. You need breaks in your day. You need to focus your mind. You do not need to be constantly on all of the time. And again, it's just become normalized overnight without most people taking a moment to stop and reflect. And then at home, thinking about that work-life balance piece. Who here uses their phone as their alarm clock? Who has a child who can wake at 5? But sometimes he wakes at 7. So I don't have an alarm clock, but I need to get one because he's like so very unpredictable. 80% of people use their phone as their alarm clock. And why wouldn't you? There's an alarm on the phone. You can change the volume. You can change the tone. Happy days. Deloitte research has found that 1 in 3 of us check for messages in the middle of the night. Last thing before we go to bed, brush our teeth. Into bed. I'm just about to turn my light off. I'll set my alarm. I'll just have one last check. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, work email. What have we done? We've stimulated our minds. We are now lying in between Boris Johnson and Donald Trump. Our ex-wife is sitting at the end of the bed. Whatever we've looked at is now in our minds. And sleep is a thing these days. Everyone's exhausted. And I think we need to bring some consciousness to the relationship we have with our devices and the impact they could be having on our ability to get a restful night's sleep. And then 10 to 7, it goes off. You haven't put your toe on the floor. Work email. Oh, yeah, great. Well, this puts me in a really good mood. I love looking at that place before I get up. Social media. People write rubbish on social media and it makes you feel crap. You're looking at it before you get out of bed. The news. We should know what's going on in the world. Of course we should. But not every freaking minute of the day. It has a negative impact on how we feel. And again, just because this technology can wake us up doesn't mean it should. And if it puts you in a bad place and starts your day off on a negative note, then I think we need to make some small changes. I was somebody who had pretty poor digital management in my life. I was a self-employed PR marketing consultant, and I loved my email. And when I got a smartphone, I loved the fact that I could carry my email around with me everywhere I went and service my clients no matter where I was. I did have quite a lot of overwhelm as a result, and then I became a mum in 2012. Sadie was 2 weeks late, but it was fine. She was born on the 23rd, which is my lucky number. Ka-ching. And she was amazing. Her arrival into our lives was like nobody could have prepared us for what was happening, and it was phenomenal. But I now had something else that required my attention, as well as all this stuff that was requiring my attention, and I had no boundaries, and I couldn't get any balance. I would be giving her lunch, checking my inbox, pushing her on the swing, replying to a client email. I became completely overloaded and completely overwhelmed. She slept through from 10 weeks, and I mean like from 7 to 7. I was an insomniac and ended up on sleeping tablets for weeks. I ended up with panic disorder where I couldn't see a lot of the time, which I think was because my brain was so overloaded with information all of the time that my body was actually just trying to shut down. And I hit a very, very low point in my life and went on a journey of recovery. And what I learned on my journey through making some change, I went through a period of mindfulness practice where I started to meditate every day. And that created some space in my mind and some clarity of thinking to realize what was causing my stress. And it was the phone was causing an awful lot of my problems. So the adjustments that I made around my use of my digital changed my life. And when I told people what I was doing, this is something everybody wanted to talk about. Oh my God, I can't get away from work. It's doing my head in. I'm looking at the inbox all weekend. Oh, my husband's never off his phone. He's looking at sport all night when we're trying to watch the telly together. People are at work during the day. There's like 4 channels that I have to keep up to date with because we've now got Slack and Skype for Business and Facebook Workplace on top of email and WhatsApp groups. And I just can't do my job. Everybody had a problem and nobody was doing anything about it. So it inspired us to create this business, to go out and create spaces for people to pause and reflect on their lives and how they were spending them and where their attention was being placed. Life is very busy and we've no time anymore, ironically, because we're all on our bloody phones the whole time. And I think, for me, I stopped and I paused and I took time to reflect and made the appropriate changes that worked for me. And I think that we all need to do this. We need to work out what's causing the stress in my world when it comes to my digital, and everybody's different. What are my triggers? Why am I constantly checking my inbox? Why do I keep feeling the need to look at Twitter, LinkedIn? What's driving me back? What's the external trigger and the internal trigger? And where do I want to place my attention? Because where you place your attention is who you are. And I think these days, too many of us are placing too much of our attention on our digital technology without really intending to. It's become a habit. It's an auto response. Moment of boredom, moment of downtime, moment of irritation, check, 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 check. And it's now just a way of life. You need to take control of your own attention. We need to make changes that are going to have positive impacts on us as individuals. But we also need to be mindful of the impact our behavior has on the people around us. So the digital behaviors at work, behavior results in culture. And I believe every business with their eye on the future needs to think about the digital culture of their workplace. Everybody's using digital to do their jobs. And over the past 4 years, I have met very few people who are 100% happy with the role that it's playing in their lives and the way, the supporting role it's meant to be playing, the enhancing role it's meant to be playing. Most people don't feel that. We need to be mindful of our behavior and the impact that that has on them, and also their behavior, and empower them to turn towards this technology and use it in a healthy and sustainable way. If you want to grow and scale your business, I believe you're a fool not to take this stuff seriously, because digital's not going anywhere. It's getting bigger, it's getting faster. It's going to become even more central to our lives, our professional and personal lives. It's not going to be too long before you can have a chip sewn into your body so you don't actually even need to pick the phone up. At least now there's a level of consciousness. I can take my device when I want to spend half an hour concentrating on that thing, put it on flight mode and stick it in the drawer. Soon it'll be in us. Now, I'm not getting a chip. I'll have some chips, but I'm not having a chip in here. But a lot of people will. So I think we need to bring some consciousness to this now. I'm an example of somebody who hit a very low point in my life. Like, I was lower than I'd ever been. And through some patience and some time and some self-compassion, I got myself to a place where my digital technology really does enhance my life. I have 2 small children. The sleep's getting better, but geez, it's still quite hard. And a lovely husband, and I really like him. And we have a wonderful life. And this business is growing. And I know if I had been sitting on my phone on that commuter train that morning, which I had been doing, I would never have come up with the idea, because I wouldn't have been looking around me and I wouldn't have been conscious of the world the way I had become. So I suppose the message for you all today is take the time to stop and pause and reflect on your own behavior, because you can make small changes. It's not rocket science what we're asking people to do. It's small. Get yourself an alarm clock. Start putting your phone in the desk drawer. Start putting email offline so you can concentrate. Tell people that you're not available on Slack apart from between 2 and 4 o'clock every day. Have some work-life balance. Talk to your people about the fact that you are overwhelmed because you can't get a break at the weekend and you're not going to be contactable on email. If anybody needs you, they can call you if it's urgent. Let's get this subject on the agenda.